In this video, we're going to read in from a text file, in this case from booksinventory.txt. We're going to read each line, which represents a book, which represents the title of the book, the description of the book, and the price. And we're going to read each line into a multi-dimensional array into our Python code so that we can do whatever it is we need to do with it, whether we need to present a menu to our customers, whether we need to give them an option of what to purchase, those kinds of things. So let's explore how we're going to get that done. So now that we can see our booksinventory.txt, let's create a bookstore.py file, which currently has nothing in it. So in order to start this, we're going to do what we've done in several videos already. We're going to create a books file, a variable, and we're going to open up a string to our booksinventory.txt file, and we're going to do it as a read-only stream. We're going to put into our variable lines, books file dot, we're going to read in all of the lines, and then let's print out lines so we see what we have. Print lines. Okay, so now, oops, if we run it, here's our output. You can see that we have this one huge, looks like a huge array, doesn't it? Well, it turns out that Python is not keeping really, even though it looks like it's keeping track of this as one huge array, we can break it up into, each line we can break up into an array by itself. So we're going to end up catching or creating an array, which Python will see as each line will be an array, and then we'll put those all into one master array. So we have multi-dimensional arrays going on here. So let's see how we can do that. First thing I'm going to do, just to demonstrate, print space the length of lines. And so if I print out the length of lines, remember that length, this len function, is supposed to give us how many elements are in an array. So if in fact Python is seeing this string, if you will, as a series of lines that we can break into an array, we should see the number 3. So let's see if that happens. So if I print this out, print length of line, where did it print that out? It didn't appear to print that out. Why did you not print that out? I must not have saved it, that's why. There we go. All right, gotta save. There we go. All right, so it printed out 3, which gives us a clue that even though this looks like it's one big string, Python's keeping track of the fact that there was 3 separate lines. And so we're going to grab each of those lines and create an array in an array. So let's see how that's going to work. All right, so I'm just going to comment this out. I don't need to print it. I just like to print things as I go along to see what it is the code is actually trying to do. So we need to create an array that's going to hold on to our array of books. So we're going to loop through blue line in lines as we've done before, and we're going to print out line just to see what it's going to be doing. So if I save that and run it, we can see in fact that as it loops through, it's printing out the single value that it's finding in each loop. Each time it loops through lines, it's printing out the one line that it's encountered. And so let's see, we have one line here. Remember that \n is at the end of each line in that text file. So it's printing out the \, is making a new line and printing out the next line. So what can we do with this? Well, let's do this. First of all, let's get rid of that line return. Remember this carriage return that's at the end of each of our lines. Let's get rid of that so we don't have this spacing. So to do that, we're going to take line equals line, and we did this in the last video. We use this rstrip method, not strip, and that's going to remove all of the non-printing. We call it non-printing because we can't see it. It's actually printing a line return, but we can't see it. So it's going to strip off the right side of our string any of those characters that it finds. It would strip off spaces. In this case, it should strip off our new line return. So I'm going to save that and run it, and let's see what happens. And let's see. Line equals line.rstrip. That should have worked, and it didn't. Oh, we didn't print it. We printed the before the. Let's print it after we strip it. All right, now let's try it. Okay. And sure enough, it did strip off those new line characters that we had at the end of each line. All right, so now we're looking good. So now the idea is that each of these lines should be an array that we're going to put into our array of books. So we're creating a multi-dimensional array here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to comment out this, this line so I don't have to see it. Okay, and I'm print it anyway. And so we append to add something onto the end of our array. Remember, we append. And what are we appending? Well, we're appending line, but we're going to do something a little bit different now. We're going to use this method called split. And what split does, it's going to take this line, whatever it is, in other words, this line, it's going to split it according to whatever character we give it. In this case, we're saying after each comma, split this sentence into 3 commas, and it automatically then puts each of these values that it finds on either side of the comma into an array. In other words, let's run this. We're not printing anything out yet, but at the end of our for loop then, let's print out our array. So we can see that that in fact worked. So I'm going to run this. Oh, I got an error. What is my error this time? Undefined. Oh, I got a misspelled array. There we go. Okay, so let's run it. And I'm getting confused with what else is printing out. So let's just get rid of some of this other print. And so we just are printing the array of books. There's a lot of jargon going on there. Okay, so what are we printing now? We've got, it looks like a multi-dimensional array, doesn't it? We have an array here that is one book. We have an array here, and I can tell this because of the comma and then the open and closing brace, and then a comma. And here's my third book, which is a third array. And all of those exist here in my array books. So I've effectively then taken each line, which represents a book, separated by commas. I've broken this line into 3 parts, and each of those lines is then put into an array. Array 0 being the title, array 1 being the description, and array 2 being the price. And we've put all of that into our array books. And so now that we've accomplished that and things are looking well, I have in my code a multi-dimensional array that I can do something with. So for example, let's loop through our book array. For a book in book arrays, it's not book arrays, book array, array books, print, book name is, and let's put book of 0, that would be our title, and print book price, don't need that extra help, thank you, the price is plus book, and book price is not index 0, 1, but 2, and so now that should print out our book prices and our book names. So let's see if it does. There you go. So now that I have that multi-dimensional array in my code, I've got access to all kinds of things. I could print a menu from this. I can keep track of what the price is for the book that was chosen, all kinds of things. And the benefit to this is if for some reason somebody wanted to, let's say the boss came along and wanted to add a third book. Let's say they wanted to add, we add C# this semester. C# is for you. There we go. Beginning C# programming. Well, and maybe this one is $39.95. So just by chance, maybe we change Java programming to 1995. So just by keeping track of our book inventory, so to speak, here in this text file, our bookstore should automatically be able to read that file and keep up to date. And so now you can see that our book name for C# was automatically added and our price was changed to $19.95. So now we are effectively reading in important data, relevant data, to it almost simulates like a database, if you're familiar with databases at all. And so now we're able to read in this data from a text file and put it into an array so that we can loop through the array, that we have access to all of the values in that array, and now we can start to really make things happen.